We're on our way to one of the refugee camps in eastern Sudan for Ethiopian refugees. There's over 50,000 of them here, and this is actually our second time back here since the war began. And that's because the federal government in Ethiopia has implemented a total communications blackout. They've almost entirely blocked journalists from getting into Tigray. So we came back because talking to the refugees here is really the only way to piece together what's actually going on over there. The civil war in Ethiopia began in November 2020, when Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed launched a military offensive against the governing party in the northern region of Tigray. Tensions there were high after the Tigray People's Liberation Front, or TPLF, held its own elections for the region against Abiy's orders.
We are confident in a relatively short period of time, we will accomplish our objectives and create a conducive environment for life to return to normalcy for our citizens in Tigray.
But the Tigrayan people have actually spent the past year fearing for their lives. The power struggle pitting Abiy's government forces and regional militias against Tigrayans have left them cut off from the rest of the country, with hundreds of thousands displaced, facing man-made famine and violence. This is Umrakuba, one of the 4 permanent camps in eastern Sudan where refugees from Ethiopia have fled, escaping the war at home. Sexual violence has been a really defining and gruesome part of the war in Tigray, and a lot of people here and rights groups have told us that mass rape and sexual slavery have been committed by the Ethiopian military, by militias, the Eritrean troops. Some survivors have agreed to talk to us about it today. Luam Desta finally made it to the camp months after she first escaped fighting in her hometown. As she fled, Desta was separated from her husband and imprisoned by a militia from the Amhara region known as the Fano. They accused her husband of fighting for Tigrayan forces.
መጀመሪያ አምጽዮ አበ ይዘላው ዘልወት ፈልጥ ይኺሎም ክንዴ ቀጥቂጦምኒ ክንዴ ወቂዓምኒ ንጓሌውን ብዙሕ አንጋላት ይዕማ
How long did they keep you and your daughter there?
ሰለስተ ወር ክንዴ እንዳዳፍኡ ምሽብ ዘሎ ቁፅርኻ ንዕና ምሳና ሓላፍ ጽዋዕ ኩነለው ኢሎም አውጽዮም ኣብ ሽንት ቤት ወሲዶም ሓደ ሓላዊ ተንኳለት ከ ከም ደስቶም ብዘይ ድሌት ይደፍሩ እዮም
And your daughter, how was she after 3 months there?
ድሕሪ እስሬት ብዙሕ ጥዕና የብላን ሌት ትድንጉጾ ነገር ነዋ በቃ ምንም ጥዕና የብላን በቃ ነፍሳውን በቃ ካብ ድሕሪ ምንም የወስኻት ነው ዝመጽ በቃ ጥዕና የብላን
There are many women who went through the same thing as you, who told us they were too afraid to show their faces. Why are you doing this openly?
ከም ዚላ ፍቃደኛ ዝኾንኩሉ ምክንያት ያው ሓደ ቤተሰብ ይሁን ብህይወት ምንባር ዘንባር ዘይፈልጥ ሰባት ኩን ኣለው ብህይወት ከም ዘለኹ ንፈልጡ ብሽም ትግራይን ኣነ ብጣዕሚ ዝኸራ ኣነ ሳየ ኩሉ ሰብ ፈልጠለ ይደል ምንም ዝፈርሓሉ ምክንያት ከ የብለኝ
1,288 cases of sexual violence were registered between February and April alone. And because of the lack of access for aid workers and the destruction of health facilities, that's likely just a fraction of crimes committed, according to Amnesty International. In August, they released a report that said that the scale of the violations, quote, amount to war crimes and may amount to crimes against humanity.
ሓዳር ነይር ስዋይ ዘምጥ
32-year-old Jeanette Kahasi has been living at Umrakuba for 9 months. She says after Ethiopian forces took her town, they tricked her family and their neighbors into returning home by promising them that they were safe.
ኣብ ገዛ ውሽጥ መጽኦም ቀቲሎሞ ጎቲቶም ወሲዶም ኣብ ደገ ሓወቅ ጽሎም ቃጢሎም ሬሳ ርኢ ቀኒና ምን ገብር አይቃልኩል بيني خويني
نعمس قتلوا حنا عين نعمصني ثلاثة أربعة وينم عميصهم زنار النورة بملو وسيدهم عيني نار أخو قربي قتلهم بدم تيمو جبرك عالد.
So they didn't allow you to bury him or to mourn him.
حاول ترش هي تجرينا وهي تجري تقبرينو دانا أسوني ما تاكهم هي تجرينا قدر زوهر كإذن بارزي إذن رابو ملو نورته وسيدهم تبع سابيسنا وتينا بليتي.
And was it the Amhara Fano militia who did that to your family?
فانونا وتدر نمطفى زرق تجراوي نمطفى امتلاعيلهم زبسزيو أمبر زرق تجراوي نمطفى تزي خو نيرو تخكلنيا باس تزخو نيرو ودان وداتين باسم قالن سيتي عيت تقع نيرا قالن سيتي حما انصبو ناي بدل يبصح نير كلتا ثلاثه ساين حانت سيت مقساس مالت دعم حما اي دعم وانجليو حاجه هذا لا علامات بمولو قلنا يرأل ولعنا بودي تدرينا.
The war took a surprising turn in June when Tigrayan forces retook most of Tigray and reinstalled the TPLF government. They quickly pushed into neighboring Amhara and Afar regions. With government forces on the back foot, reports of horrific reprisal attacks emerged. In August, 28 bodies, some with hands tied and bullet holes, washed up on the shores of a river on the Sudanese border. Witnesses believe they came from Tigray. The Ethiopian government called the discovery a fake propaganda campaign. Now, a war that started as a political feud is a full-blown ethnic conflict. In July, Prime Minister Abiy tweeted that the enemy is a cancer and a weed that needs to be uprooted, a statement that the UN believes fuels those tensions. And it's rhetoric that has emboldened militias to attack other minority ethnic groups. Idmasu Molo is an ethnic command, a minority group from northern Ethiopia. He arrived in Sudan less than a month ago and is scared that the family he left behind in Amhara will be targeted by the same militias attacking Tigrayan civilians.
በጣም የጦርነት ቦታ ነው አሁን ራሱ ሀዛው ያሉበት ቦታ በጣም አስጊ ቦታ ነው አሁን ጦርነቱ ሀዛ በጣም ተቀስቅሶ ነው ያለ እየተጋገጥመው ነው ያሉት በጣም ነው ምንፈራ በቃ ህዝቦቻችንን ያልቃሉ ብለን በጣም ነው ምንፈራ.
What was going on in your town at the time that you left?
ስለዚህ በሀገራችን ላይ አሁን አማራና የኢትዮጵያ መከላከያ ሰራዊት የሚያደርገን በደል በጣም ቀላል አይደለም እኛም ብቻ ቅማንተን ብቻ በመተመለከት አይደለም ኢትዮጵያ ውስጥ አሁን ዘር ማጥፋት ነው ተይዟል በሙሉ በቃ የሃይማኖት ማለት የብሔር አገሮችን በሙሉ.
Given how the war is spreading recently, can you see a time in the future where Amhara can live together with Command and Amhara can live together with Tigray?
አሁን ያሉት ብቻ ለብቻ ነው ግን ያው ቀጣይ ጊዜ ማገር ሰላም ከሆነ ጥሩ መንግስት ከመጣ ባንድ ላይ ይሆናሉ ብለን እንገምታለን አሁን ግን ሁለታቸውም የጋራ የግል መንግስታቸውን ስለያዙ.
So who do you blame then for the fact that now the war has taken this turn to different ethnic groups fighting each other?
መጠየቅ የሚቻል ከሆነ በአሁኑ ሰዓት መጠየቅ ያለበት የኢትዮጵያ መንግስት ነው ፌደራላዊ መንግስትና የሀገሪቱ መከላከያ ሚኒስትሮች ናቸው መጠየቅ ያለባቸው.
The international community is sounding the alarm that all of Ethiopia, once considered a beacon of stability in Africa, might soon be pulled into a war that risks destabilizing the entire region. Many survivors of the conflict are already laying the blame at Prime Minister Abiy's feet and making sure the next generation won't forget.
كل سنة تجافكفوا كل سنة تعالشوا كل سنة تجامالي أس ردنا عاوي عمل عندنا طلعت بيها جملة أنا معك كم حزن.
And your boys, what do you want for their future?
بس إذا بقى تستقر نجارات كم رمية نجرمية بزك على المتن تمرت كم رمية جيت أنا أبوهم كم زفادي أزقبر عنك ده أبوهم عبيها مدي قتيل وندا خمراني
ቅድሚ ጦርነት ብጣዕሚ ኢና ጽቡቕ ነርና ኣብ ሓደ ገዛ 5 ዓመትና ተቐሚጥና ኣብ ዝተቐመጥናሎም ገዛ መሓሪኦም ነይሮም ብጣዕሚ ኢና ጽቡቕ ነርና ምስቶም ሰብ ገዛ ንባዕሉ በቃ ብሓደ ንበልዕ ንሰቲ በቃ ብጣዕሚ ኢና ጽቡቕ ነርና ብጣዕሚ ፍቕሪ ኢና ተቐሚጥና ነርና ኣብ መጨረሻ እውን ሕማቕ ገይሮምና ንዓና ጽቡቕ ይገበርና
So after the Amhara forces entered your town, what happened?
ንብረት ኩሉ ተዘሪፉ ነይሩ በቃ ሰምቕታል ሕማቕ ሓደ ነገር ሰብ ምሕራድ ገለ ተጀሚሩ ህፃውንቲ ምሕራድ ኣዴታት ምድፋር ብዙሕ ነገር ተፈጢሩ
A well-known Amhara militia called Fano were mobilized to fight alongside the army early in the war. Then, as the conflict spread into Amhara in July, the government called on all able-bodied civilians to take up arms, hardening ethnic divisions in an already divisive war. After Luam Desta was kicked out of her home, she was held for 3 months in a Fano-run prison, where she says she and other Tigrayan women were forced into sex slavery and tortured.
ትግራዊት ምዃነይ ኣነ ዘክፍዕ ዝበፅሕ እምበር ያው ነይረን ወልቀቶት ነይረን ኣምሓር እውን ነይረን ሲለን ብቐሊል ነገር ዝተኣሰራ ንዓተን ምንም ኣይብልዎን ነይረ ትግራዋት ዝኾንና ግን ብዙሕ ነገር በፅሕና
How did you finally get out of prison?
ባርሽ ፈለም ስወሰድና ያው ኩሎም ናይ ፋኖ ኩሎም ሓለፍቲ መፅኦም ንሓደ ሰብ 10,000 ጠይቆማ 10,000 ከፊሎም መፅኦምና ያው ኢደይ ቅርሺ ይነበረን መሓዛይ ነይራ ናይ በዓል ገዛይ እውን ዝፈልጥዎ ሓደ ሰባት ነይሮም ኣዋፅኦም ከፊሎም ኣውፅኦም
After 3 months in captivity, how do you feel about the men that held you there?
ኣነ ብጣዕሚ ሕማቕ ዝስምዐኒ ብጣዕሚ ሕማቕ ዝስምዐኒ ውሽጠይ ማለት እዩ እስካዕ ሕጂ
What's life been like for you here at the camps?
ኣነ ምስ ሰብኣየ ብምርካበ ያው ሕጂ ብጣዕሚ እየ ፅቡቕ ዘለኹም ብጣዕሚ ኢና ፅቡቕ ዝኔና ሓገዝ ብዝግበረና ብጣዕሚ ኢና ነምስግን ብጣዕሚ ኢና ፅቡቕ ዘለና ሕጂ እግዚአብሔር ይመስገን
After months reliving their collective trauma in the camps and no hope of returning home, many Tigrayans have doubts about living in a united Ethiopia, even if the conflict ends soon. You said that before Amhara and Tigrayan lived happily together. Do you think that's possible now, after these last months of war?
أحس هينور زخلو قفع زخلو حواتنا تقاتلهم عديتاتنا تقاتلنا حواتنا تحريدهم بحر حجي مسامحار سلام الله إلى حسن بسلام النبر أي مسلم بزح قفع أبصح ملنا نيو مالتي بزح سوي تفرينا